Now, I called Fire and Ice the Meth Bible. Some people said it was blasphemous. I looked up the definition of Bible. It's a book that is the authority on a subject. And I called that book that because that is the most raw depiction of the myth lifestyle. That book is the truth. 718 pages about the life that we used to live. And that book is going to set captives free. And that's for the person who's out there high reading the book like you used to read the Bible. Remember, 16 hours a day. Somebody's going to pick up that book and go, this man escaped. This man escaped, and so can I. And that's why God had me write that book, as bad as it was, because the truth needed to be told to expose the devil's carnival.
Exactly, because people are stuck in it and they may not even know how deep they're stuck in it. They think they're just having fun. They think they're out there just partying, having a good time, and they don't realize that when you are smoking meth, when you are shooting meth, like when you are doing these things and having sex with people, like you were saying, you're creating these soul ties. Like you are like stuck. It's like an invisible cord that is connected right to the demonic realm that keeps you. It keeps you there. And
it's having and just so to answer your question, I didn't mean to get away from that, but gang stalking, you can just assume that if you're in the meth game, you are being maliciously gang stalked by even your best friends. Okay. The whole thing is everyone wants to see you lose. You can trust no one. Your best friends are not friends at all. It's all an illusion. And you're out there and everyone is just breaking each other. Escape now before it's too late and the life of your dreams is ahead. Gang stalking, everyone in the myth game is rooting for you to lose, period.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was such a hard pill for me to swallow when I came into recovery. Like, wow, these people didn't care about me. They didn't care about me at all. Like they were using me, they were abusing me, they were passing me around like I was a joke, you know.
Right.
And they had my head, you know, they were, you know, Satan's army prancing around with my head on a stick, like, ha ha, God, look what we've got one of yours, and look what we're doing to her, you know. I mean, they just create and make a skeptical of you. And it's terrible when you're in the middle of it, because it's heartbreaking, especially if you are, you know, one of God's chosen ones. Like you want to, you know, think the best of people, and you want to think like, oh no, this isn't that big of a deal. But it is. It's totally strategic. It's planned out. It is not coincidence.
There's no coincidence. All the little codes and everything, the whole language, the whole life is just demonically controlled and designed to break you. It steals, kills, and destroys anything good. Your best friends in the meth game think the exact opposite of how God sees you. They will sleep with your boyfriend in a New York second for a bag of dope. They will take your spot. They'll cut your throat. My best friends robbed my house the night I went to jail. They saw me on the news. The police told me, they're like, they're in your house right now, robbing your house. I'm like, yeah, you know. So I was blessed to watch every one of them walk away, and not one of them wrote me, not one of them came to see me, no one cared. I was a distant memory, like smoke in the ashes, and I was blessed by that. When I got out, I hit the ground running, and I never looked back. I put those people, those places, and those things in the rear view, and now I'm out here serving God. I mean, that book, you read the chapter, you're reading the chapter that's The Driver Stakes is High. Is that not a trigger warning? Can you not feel yourself in the trap houses? The needle going through your arm. You can feel what it's really like to live that life.
Absolutely. It is such a clear depiction and brought back so many memories for me. It was definitely, I had to take it in small bites, because I was like, wow, this is intense. It's almost like walking back into a flashback, you know, of that life. Like it is truly like, wow, that. And it really, it has also brought me like a lot of clarity for things, you know, because when we're in this, you know, we think that we're, oh, this is meth psychosis. Oh no, you're just crazy. Oh no, you know, you're just, seeing things, you need to go to sleep, you need to get off the drugs. I went in and out of the mental hospital 8 different times because I
Right.
kept seeing all this demonic stuff, and for me, mine was it was a satanic cult, and they were led by a Freemason. And
Right. Yeah.
so I kept saying, like, I keep seeing these people, and they have this black hood and they have this black cape, and they're like, no, you need to go to sleep, like you're on drugs. And it was like, no, they were really there. Like
Right.
that was real.
Those things weren't made up in your head. What are demons' main job? To torment. They make you think you're crazy because they want you in a mental institution where you have no rights as an American citizen, where no one will listen to your words. Everything you speak you might as well be in outer space. Nobody's listening to a crazy person. Your spirit's gone, and it strips you down of everything from your freedom to the people that love you to even your voice. No one will listen to you. But now, if we find recovery, now look at my life. I was in a mental institution, right? A lot of shame that goes along with mental health and that type of thing. Methamphetamines did that to me. But when I came out, I didn't care. I knew that God had a plan, right? I wrote a 718-page book with a 10th grade education, right? And you've read it. It's pretty decent. Okay.
It's amazing. Don't sell it short, Pat.
I wrote that book in 6 months to the day while I was homeless, and I never read it, never changed not one word. God wrote that book through me, as bad as it is, so that the truth about the meth game could be exposed. Now, the next one I'm writing, Deep Washington, that's about the total transformation, about what God did in my life after. But I have sold millions and millions of dollars since I've been out. Okay. I got married to my soulmate. I've achieved things that I never felt in my wildest dreams would come true. And it's only the beginning, but it's because I pushed through the shame. I trusted God's plan for my life, and there was nothing that was going to stop that. So if you're watching this and you're in those chains, if you're in a trap house watching this video looking for answers, like I did with Derek Prince's Demon Gangs video, just know that you could turn right now. Go get help right now. The life of your entire dreams and even beyond is available to you when you follow the Lord Jesus Christ.
So, okay, now I want to address something with getting help. Now, moving into like the getting help part. Why is it that we cannot do it on our own? Because I hear this a lot. People, they don't want to go into a community, a sober living, a recovery, a detox, a church, they want to internalize and do it on their own. Why is this not possible?
Well, who does that sound like to you? What's the hallmark of Satan? It's division. He wants to keep you alone and isolated. Now, treatment's great, sober living's great, church is awesome, 12-step meetings are awesome. I would say pray. Find the people who really love you first. Family, try to go and repent and go and apologize. Get some people on your team, get a core of your team. Then go into a 12-step group, whether it's Celebrate Recovery or any of the other ones. They're all good. I go to everything because I spread the gospel wherever I go. And I would say get a core group of people. But if you want to be alone, recognize that is the enemy whispering his snarling voice directly in your ear, trying to set you up for failure.
Patrick, you went mute. There you go.
Yeah.
Can you say that last line again, because you went mute?
As soon as he gets you alone, he's going to send you the demon-controlled people to whisper in your ear to get you to go back. And I can't tell you, when I was quitting drugs every other day when I was out there, I can't tell you how many times I'd be walking down the street and somebody would come up to me and say, "Hey, Boston, I got that gram I owe you." And I'm like, "Where were you the last 4 months?" The devil will try to use anything to rope you back in, and division is a hallmark of the devil. If you feel like you should be alone, that's exactly when you should not be alone.
Exactly. Because that's something that, that I'm seeing a lot just recently with people. And I know it's, ongoing, but recently there's been like a huge spark of people who are trying to do it like on their own. And I'm like, no, you need community, you need support, you need help. And I think that also, could be like pride too, and the enemy trying to keep us in guilt and shame, and especially as parents. So, can we talk about, like, as parents, how to move forward in forgiving ourselves for the things that happened?
Right. And I mean, did you read some of the shameful things I put into this book? Okay. When I wrote those, I was releasing stuff like that on the internet from the inside. The shame and everything that lifted on me, once I lifted the shame off myself and accepted me for who I was, that allowed me to change. And boy, did it feel like an elephant stood up off my chest. Hey, I was sick. This is who I used to be. But then I invented and built the man that God showed me. And it's working out great. There ain't nothing that you've done out there that somebody else hasn't. And I've probably done that twice and maybe even something else more. It's okay. God knew about it and he's still saying, come on home anyway. It don't matter.
That's so true. That's so true. I was just talking about that, because when I started talking about the things in my TikTok series, it was really just for me to, like, process, because I felt like I never, had a voice, and I was getting out these things, these shameful, guilty things that I did, that I took part in, knowingly. And me being able to say, like, yeah, you know what, I did these things, but that's not who I am anymore. Like,
No.
I have been completely reinvented. Like you were saying, like, I now I work for God. Like, I don't work for the enemy. I don't co-sign his tactics. I don't participate in any of that, um I lay down my life, and with me laying down my life, that's laying down and putting out all my shameful things, all my guilty things, because they don't have power over me anymore. They no longer have power over me. I have been forgiven for them. I have forgiven myself for them. I've been restored in these areas, and you can be restored in these areas too. Your children can you can have relationships with them again.
Right.
These things can be restored. It does take time, but we should just keep pressing forward and doing the next right thing, and the things will happen. The gifts of recovery will come through for sure.
Right. And like the cast of characters out there, it's all a big sham. Once we realize the devil's controlling everything, I look at your story about the doctor and the pills, right? And I look at that and I'm like, the devil was controlling the whole situation. He sent you there to break the doctor there to break you. Everybody was losing except Satan. It's all a great illusion. When we think we're getting over on people, they're really getting over on us. The devil's winning, the enemy's winning, our lives are broken and destroyed. Once we escape that and we realize that it's all a big sham, the devil has no power over us anymore. And now we can harness everything for good and light, and we can become exactly who God intended us to be.
Right. And you can, and I promise you now, you can have these amazing dreams. You can have amazing jobs. You can have, the things that you never thought were possible without getting them through selling drugs, through prostituting, through, all of these demonic pathways. Like, you can truly have your dreams, with God's blessing. And God,
if drug dealers owned cars, I wouldn't have been able to support my habit. There's a reason why everybody's broke out there when they're making $10,000 a month. It's you're set up to fail. It's on illusion. If you're in the game, you'll never be nothing in life. And that's just a fact. It's designed to keep you down. There's no way to get out. There's no way to get back into reality until you break the chains, the soul ties from that whole area of life. Leave the carnival now. The party's over.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Get off the Ferris wheel.
Right. The merry-go-round is demonic and broken. Get off before you fall off.
Yes, those are not real horses. Just keep.
No, those horses eat people.
That's right. That's right. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a great thumbnail.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What else? What else can we talk about?
I just want to say that if you have a loved one and you don't understand the strange, mysterious ways that they've been acting, they're like a zombie, they don't sleep, and they're on meth, and you can't understand it, go ahead and pick up the book. I wrote it from a few different angles. I wrote it for the addict who's still trapped. I wrote it for the family who doesn't understand, and I read it for the kid who's trying drugs for the first time to show them what could happen, and I think that it's important for us to say the truth is in that book. And if you got family, you have to understand how deeply they're in. And it's not just a drug, it's a spiritual cage that they're living in, and I think that book explains it, and it also shows the way out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when people do have, family in there, it's such a fine line between loving someone where they're at, having hard boundaries, and just continuous prayer and doing warfare for them like every day. I mean, it's
do not give them a place to stay. Do not let them use your car. Do not give them money above all things. But I mean, a meth addict can use the house that you open to them to invite the most evil, demonic crowd of carnival workers you've ever seen into your house. And that invites all kinds of crazy stuff. And if you've got a Florida crash on, that's a way for them to get high.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right.
My poor dad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, my mom too. I had a guy actually that was, part of that cult, and he actually ran me over in my own car in my mom's driveway, ran over me went through my mom's house. Thank God my kids weren't on the other side of that wall, okay, because they were little at the time. And I was so messed up in this whole meth circus carnival here that when the cops came and they asked me, did he do that on purpose? I was like, yeah. Why would he do that? He loves me. Like I was so, they were like, but Miss Tall, there's skid marks in the driveway right here. Like, we're pretty sure that he did this on purpose. And I was just mind blowing. What? You mean he tried to kill me? What?
Right. And then the word snitch is about the worst thing that you could be called out there. It could get you killed, this, that, and the other thing. And you've got to live within the rules of the game. And nowadays, to me, the rules of the game are absolutely insane. You're sitting out there protecting a bunch of people who would flip on you in a New York second. Half of your friends are probably confidential informants right now who are give me 3 out and then you go free type situations. I mean, how are these people, now that I look back, how are they running around free, doing the things that they were doing when I know some of them got caught?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to ask yourself, and there's a lot of Judases running out there in the game, and they don't care about you. So every time you do a drug deal, every time you talk about drugs, every time you do a prostitution deal, all this stuff, your friends are telling on you. And you might as well just go ahead and assume that.
Absolutely. That's so true. That is so
the same one's calling you a snitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you're not, they are. Yeah.
Right. Oh my goodness. So in order to get out, so you're stuck in this thing. Now you ended up, how did you end up in the mental institution?
Well, I beat a felony 1 case on an insanity defense at the last second. It was really a miracle. So I went there, but I was already mentally healed from the methamphetamine substance abuse. It was an overnight miracle healing. And I had to go there for a safety evaluation, so I was sane in that place. And I came out with paperwork saying that I have no Axis 1 diagnosis. I was diagnosed as a meth addict. Methamphetamine substance abuse, because they did a thorough evaluation with a team of 20 doctors, treatment team, and they determined that it was basically a big mistake. I went there and I never should have gone there, but God had a plan. And I walked out of there a completely free man with no criminal record. I always ask myself why, because he knew where I was going next and I couldn't go there with felonies. So he took care of me. And the only reason he chose me for this mission, Jamie Tall, was because I got a big mouth and he knew I'd tell everybody about all the miracles. That's it.
Isn't that the truth? Saved by the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
I can take a beating and I got a big mouth. That's why he selected me for this mission. But you know what? I'm glad he did. I wouldn't change a thing. So
yeah, absolutely. I can relate. Yes.
yeah.
Like, oh, she will share her whole life on the internet.
Right. You know, people hate what we're doing, Jamie Tall. People hate what we're doing. People and the devil absolutely hates us. You can expect opposition when we start talking about things like this. I've been speaking on this for 3 years now, and I can't tell you how many people have attacked me, called me crazy. I mean, you're being gang stalked in the recovery realm. That's crazy to me. When you're trying to spread a message of truth and Christ and everything, and you have swarms of people coming to hate on you and tell you that you're crazy still and all this. You know what? I don't listen to them. I know who sent them. They're not going to take me off the mission. Look at the response we got from that last video. It's amazing when you start talking about something that's truthful and real, how people respond to it, because now everybody's starting to have the courage to say, you know what, that happened to me too. And you know what, I had those same experiences. So what we're doing is opening a door for truth, and we're just forging the path for other people, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, and giving a voice to people who may not have had courage to speak up. So being like a voice to the voiceless.
Right.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Boston Born Again, this is an awesome book. I'm definitely going to put the link in the description. I know some people who have already got it.
Really?
Yes,
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue, you know, reading the excerpts from it, because it's so relatable. It is so good.
People in Canada are reading that book right now. I'm like, they must have a meth game up north of the border too, you know? I guess it's everywhere now. So that's good.
Yes, yes. So Fire and Ice, the Meth Bible by Boston Born Again. You can get this on Amazon. There's a Kindle version and a paperback version. I liked the paperback version because I like to have it in my hands.
Right.
Super, super truthful book. I mean, this is, you know, this is true life of the meth carnival. True.
I had to put that book out myself because no publishers would touch it. I was shopping it in 2020 and nobody would touch a book because it's that honest, that truthful, and that explicitly real.
Yeah, well, everything is controlled one way or another. So
right.
This book's going out no matter what.
Right.
Publishers can't stop it.
Nothing was gonna stop that.
Nothing's gonna stop it. Oh, well, awesome. Well, it's so good talking to you. As always, congratulations on all the amazing things that God is doing in your life. And thank you again for being a voice to the voiceless and giving people courage to say, you know what, if he did it, so can I. So thank you for that, for sharing your testimony. And we will be doing more talks. This is not the last one. So
get out of the carnival now. The cotton candy is made of poison.
That's right. That's right.
Leave now.
Yes, you don't know what's in the middle of those candy apples. You don't.
That's right.
You don't
Razor
know what's
blades in hell. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Make sure you subscribe to Jamie Tall on YouTube, and we will see you next time on Recovery Inspired Hope.